So like there's this thing about submission, and like the man submitting to God, and the lady also submitting to the man, right? So there is always this conflict about submission that it's very difficult for especially the ladies to understand, because the ladies feel like, why should I submit to a man? Like, why is that really important? Okay, but you have to understand. Okay, you have to understand that even when you read First Corinthians chapter 11 verses 3, okay, talks about it's not really like a submission hierarchy, but when you look at that, it says that the man, okay, the head of the man is Christ, and the head of the woman, okay, is the man, and then the head of Christ is God, right? So it gives some level of hierarchy. Okay, so now if the man is under the authority of Christ, then the woman can submit to the man, right? So if you as a lady, you find yourself in the situation where your man, or your husband, is not under the authority of Christ, and let's say you as a lady, you're let's submissive to that person, you wouldn't feel the kind of love that you deserve. Okay, especially in most cases when, let's say, the man is not under the influence of Christ. That's why in Ephesians 5, the Bible talks about the man loving the wife as Christ loved the church, and the wife submitting to the man. Okay, so even as a man, if or you are not submissive to Christ, it's very difficult for your wife to be submissive to you. You understand? So that's something you have to understand. So now in Genesis 2 verse 24, the Bible talks about, therefore a man shall leave his mother, his father, and be joined to his wife. Okay, and they shall become one flesh. Okay, they shall become one flesh. All right. Now let's look at the Trinity in this form. Right. So the Trinity is God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Okay, it's one body, but they function differently. All right. So when you look at the wife, then the husband, they are one flesh. Okay, but there should be a hierarchy. Like we have God the Father, the Son, and then the Holy Spirit. Okay. In that kind of order, right? So when you have, let's say, the couple, right, the husband and the wife, when they become together, they are one flesh, but there should be a head. Anytime there is no leader in a particular companionship, nothing really works out, because you have to have a leader. Okay, so in a marriage, the leader is the man. If the man does not lead by example, it's very hard for, let's say, the lady to actually follow. Okay, so as a man, you have to lead by example for your wife to follow you. If you don't lead by example, it's very difficult for your wife to follow you. Yeah. So, and like I said, one consequence about submitting to the wrong person. Okay, the wrong person is they treat you as a slave. Okay, they treat you as a slave. That's something you have to know. If you submit to the wrong person, they are going to weaponize your kindness. They are going to use your kindness, your submission against you. Right. That is why it's very important for you to actually find someone, okay, who is submissive to God, okay, as a lady. And well, you have to understand that before you marry, okay, you were already a believer before you enter into a relationship, right? So you have to understand the basics of love. Understand? You love like Christ. Okay. You love as a wife, you have to love like Christ. As a husband, you have to love like Christ. Okay. You're already a believer before you came into the relationship. So these are some basic stuff you have to understand. Alright. Submission shouldn't be difficult for, let's say, the lady, especially if the man is under the authority of God. It wouldn't be difficult for the lady. You understand? So then even dating someone or being be in a relationship with someone, you have to find someone who is compatible, in character, in faith, okay, in behavior, their modesty, Yeah, those are the kind of attractive things that you should look for in someone you want to stay with, okay? Because marriage is a very long time till death do us apart, right? Yeah, marriage is a very long time till death do us apart, so it's something you have to know. Once you settle down, there is no going back. Like once you settle down, that's it. Like, you know, until divorce, but you don't want to be praying for divorce. That's not your main focus in marriage. Shouldn't be divorce. Main focus in marriage should, you know, guys being able to, work together effortlessly and, raising godly children, and that should be the focus, not divorce. For me, I don't want to divorce now. So that is why it's mindful who you want to settle down with. Okay, you don't have to rush into it. Like you don't have to rush into marriage, or because of pressure from people you feel like growing old, and yeah, you don't have to rush. Okay, just take your time, work on yourself, be a better person. Once you're a better person, you surely find someone who suits you. Okay, so there is something that I've realized that you know change starts with you, right? So once you change your mindset, you change your character, you change your routine, like the universe has a way of locating you with people who have similar routine and similar mindset. That's why you realize that when you change something about yourself, in some way you usually find someone who has that kind of same passion and qualities and character as you. So the universe has a way of um making you find people who have similar qualities and as you, which is very is very like amazing, is very important. And yeah, so change always and always starts with you. Okay, it starts with you. And so I mean, whilst you're in your waiting season, you know just be a better version of yourself. Always pray to God to help you to become better. If you're still single right now, just focus on your goals. Work on yourself, go to the gym, work out. Be mentally stable in the head. Spiritually, you read the Bible, you pray every time. And socially, yeah, intelligence spans in different ways. Socially, emotionally, intellectually, yeah, in terms of adversity, even spiritually, yeah. So um yeah, so that's something that I feel like sharing to people. And yeah, you have to understand all this before you get into marriage. Okay, submission shouldn't be difficult uh, for you as a believer. Okay, because as a believer you want to find the right people to settle down with. Okay, that's why the Bible even warns us, do not be equally yoked with, is it unbelievers? Yeah, so don't marry someone who is like, don't try to be force someone who is a non-believer into a relationship. It's very difficult for you, because firstly the person doesn't share your beliefs, he doesn't share your faith, so you're not going to convince the person, oh my friend. Let God do the job for you. Okay, you're not a therapist, you're not let God do that for you. You feel me? Let God do that for you. So yeah, submission shouldn't be difficult for someone, for the man, for the lady. The man is just leading. Okay, so the lady has to follow, but it becomes difficult if the man is not another authority of God. All right, so yeah, that's something you have to understand. And yeah, see you guys.